Guten Morgen. Welcome into the NBA Daily, presented by Amazon Prime. I'm Dave DuFour here with Es Baraheni. Coming up, the NBA's in Berlin. Our man Joe Vardon was there. We talked to him about the Magic Grizzly game. The Thunder win another statement game over the Rockets. We got to talk about them. And the Bucks got embarrassed again by Wemby and the Spurs. Good morning, everybody. How's it going, Es?
Guten Morgen, Dave. Yeah. I tried. I was going to jump the gun and do it ahead of you, but you got me, man. You got me.
I mean, listen, this is, again, why I get the medium bucks around here.
Sure.
Yeah. Listen, it was a pretty fun game in Berlin. The Magic wind up winning that game. I want to just talk about the Anthony Black dunk with you. We talked about this with Joe Vardon, but Es, this is one of the best dunks I've ever seen.
Yeah, it really is.
It dunked on four guys.
It doesn't even make sense, man. It really doesn't make sense that he dunked that ball. Like, it should not have been possible. You know, we watched something that just was not supposed to be possible happen. And the crazy thing is, I think that was what helped the Magic win the game. It was all tied, and he had a dunk in a clutch moment. It's always a little bit extra when that when that dunk happens at a big moment like that, you know?
Basketball is a momentum sport. It has the wild swings for that reason. You know, this is why I hated when the Grizzlies were hot early on, the Magic switch into the zone. Thought that was a mistake. They were too hot. You have to actually pressure them and get them to not shoot. Anyway, we went deep on that game with Joe after the break. But hey, look, the Thunder and Rockets met up last night. This is back-to-back big games for the Thunder. And once again, they step up and they show how dominant they can be. They win this game 111-91. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, another 20-point game. Where are we at now? How many games is that in a row?
I think it's 112 or 113 from what the broadcast was saying. So something in that range. Yeah,
he's a little over, he's in double digits, I guess, like 12 or 13 away from the record. So obviously we'll be keeping an eye on that. Oh, yeah. But as I actually don't want to focus on the Thunder because the truth is the Thunder, they won playing Thunder basketball. I want to focus on the Rockets because you've been telling me for the last few weeks that the Rockets are elite. All right, they're top 10 in offense, top 10 in defense. We know how good the rebounding is. But every time I watch the Rockets, which is pretty much, I watch a lot of their games, I'll say, 4 out of 5 of their games, I am astounded by the rebounding. It's incredible. But I am also astounded by the fact that they took 24 threes in the game last night.
Yeah.
And all of their good offense seems predicated on getting an offensive rebound first. That's it. There are no plays being run. There's no easy buckets. There's no system buckets. It's go be the system. Please, Kevin Durant, get a shot. Amen Thompson, make something happen.
Yeah.
What am I missing? What's the eye test missing from this team?
Well, I think the offensive rebounding is crucial, but it's worth noting that it's the defense on the other side of the ball that also keeps them in games. Like, very much so. In a different way to the Oklahoma City Thunder, the Rockets are going to rely on the defense keeping them in the game, their offensive rebounding to match whatever the other team is doing on the offensive end so that they can kind of game the math battle. It's a little bit gimmicky. I won't deny that it's a little gimmicky. But what the Rockets thrive at is, hey, we are going to take more shots than you on any given night. Tonight, they took 15 more shots than the Thunder. They ended up still losing because, to your point, they got destroyed in a three-point battle.
Yeah, the volume's just not there.
16-7 in terms of made threes, 41-24 in terms of attempts. Jabari Smith Jr. tonight made half of the Rockets' total threes.
Yeah.
That's not sustainable.
It's called a math problem. It's
a math problem.
The math just isn't there. And this is where an offense matters. Even if it's just high pick and roll. I mean, an offense matters. Getting that penetration into the paint, getting a kick out, getting good looks. They just don't do that.
Well, but that's why they need a guard. I mean, there's so much pressure on Reed Shepherd to be that guy for them. I know there was some hope that Amen Thompson could eventually become that guy, but they just need a table setter, an organizer. And to your point about the shot creation, you could see it in the fourth quarter. The quality of the shots that OKC was getting versus the quality Houston was getting on every possession, it was night and day. And me and you, we've both had our gripes about OKC's half-court offense.
Absolutely.
Right? So you're not comparing special to bad. You're comparing like a mediocre to good half-court offense in OKC that can get stagnant sometimes to the Rockets where it feels very reliant on Kevin Durant isolation and Şengün isolation. And if both of those guys aren't dominating, they're just not going to win in a playoff series, right?
It's shot making is what they actually rely on.
And it's tough shot making.
Really hard shots. It's not a shot diet that I think a team can survive on. Kevin Durant can. Right. But the rest of those dudes can't. They just don't. They're not that guy. Anyway, I'm just not sold on the Rockets as a serious contender.
I will say, can I play devil's advocate here for a second?
Please. That's why we're doing this.
Yeah. You're right. I do think they do match up well with OKC because the size that they have obviously gives them an advantage on the offensive rebounds, which can match the math battle. The Thunder are also a team that can go through inconsistent stretches as a shooting team. And so you grind ball OKC and try to match their energy on the defensive side of the ball. I think they match up very well with what OKC can look like in a postseason series. That's sort of the identity they have to keep in mind if they want to get far in the playoffs too. So that's my devil's advocate case for Houston is we've seen OKC grind teams in a postseason series. Houston has that same quality to them.
Well, you mentioned the offensive rebounding, the shot advantage. It was 23-7. Yeah. The Rockets beat the Thunder in offensive rebounds. Again, it's their game, but no Isaiah Hartenstein out there for the Thunder. And you have to think that would have helped a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean,
great Chet game today too. Yeah, totally.
Fantastic Chet game, which maybe we should talk about. Because we hammered Chet when he had a bad game the other night against the Spurs, and he was excellent in this game. He had 18 points, he had 9 rebounds. His defense is...
he was great.
I feel like we focus so much on the flaws in his offense that we overlook the fact that this guy is a defensive player of the year caliber defender around the basket. 4 blocks in this game.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because he's giving you prime Rudy Gobert defensive productivity. And yet all of our eyes are kind of glued to the offensive side of the ball and how much more he can tap into there. It goes to show you how special of a player he is, because if he ever does get to that point offensively, you're looking at a consistent all-NBA type of player. But I think he's an all-star this year. I think just based on how much OKC is winning, he's been their second best player. And you look at what he provides on the defensive side of the ball. If Wemby misses games here, Chet is the defensive player of the year. Like there's no question in my mind. And that's, I mean, he had 6 stocks tonight and it felt like he had way more than that in terms of the deflections and just rim deterrence he had all throughout that game.
Yeah. Another game for the Bucks and another blowout. Okay. The Spurs ended this game early. The final score didn't even matter. Yeah. It was a 35-point game. Going into the fourth quarter, 37-point game, going into the fourth quarter. It started out in a very weird way. Early in the first quarter, you had Giannis and Wemby kind of collide knee to knee. Giannis missed the rest of the first quarter, came back, started the second quarter.
Wemby missed.
Did I say Giannis?
Yeah, it's fine though. Whatever.
I'm reading. Excuse me for that. He came back. He was totally fine. And beyond fine, actually. Like he came back and he was dominant. Hit a ridiculous turnaround 3-pointer, just ho-hum. It's funny that we're just talking about Chet because I think it's a similar situation there, but we're more in awe of some of the ridiculous things that Wemby accomplishes on the offensive end. Maybe Chet needs to tap into some of that monk wisdom. Maybe if Chet follows Wemby's lead and shaves his head.
Interesting.
Like the rest of the kings in this world do. Shave that head, Chet, and maybe we'll find your game more.
Look, I will say everybody should go and read Jared Weiss's piece on the Jackals and Wemby and the fandom in San Antonio. But there were 2 of the Ultra fans that were getting interviewed in this game when it was a blowout. And they had shaved their head this morning.
It's pretty funny.
Because of Wemby and Keldon Johnson. And it's so cool to see a team buy into them like that. Yeah. And I mean, the actual basketball side of things, Wemby was regularly dominant. And the Spurs just destroyed a lifeless Bucks team. Like we texted each other throughout this game. We're like, they look dead. They look like they have no interest in playing this game. And man, what perfect timing in terms of the trade deadline coming up in a couple of weeks.
I mean, if you look at their last 3 games, they lost to the Nuggets without Jokic. All right. I mean, we talked about how tough they are. They got blown out by the Timberwolves, blown out by the Spurs. And I mean, yeah, that's the Western Conference. But if you're Giannis and you're looking at this team, like this team is not going anywhere. I don't know what they
That's
should
a foregone
do.
conclusion, though. At this point, I think
It's
he knows
over.
that. I think Doc knows that. I think the rest of the team knows that. They're just kind of like on a dead pirate ship at this point. You know what I mean? Like a ghost ship sailing through the Atlantic, trying to find
digging a ditch to nowhere.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly. It's like, where are they leading this thing to? I don't know. Do you think this means that we're accelerating a process towards a trade in the next couple weeks? I don't know.
It's getting sad, though. I mean, watching Giannis get blown out is not fun. But also, I mean, this is not the first time. I'm sure someone can tell us. Probably not the first time in his career he's been blown out a couple of nights in a row. But I don't think that this season there was the anticipation they were going to be this bad from themselves. I mean, I wasn't sold on everything they did. I thought they needed a point guard for sure. I don't know. It's just, it hasn't worked out. And again, I'm going to swing back to this. You keep trying the same thing over and over again. Eventually, you're going to have to probably move Giannis. The question now is, do you try to move him here at the deadline, or do you hang on and do it in the summer when maybe you have more options?
Or do you dig yourself deeper and trade for Zach LaVine and Ja Morant and Michael Porter Jr. and hope they solve the problem?
Honestly, listen, if the Bucks were to do that, I can't blame them. Is it smart? No. But does sports need to be smart? It's Giannis Antetokounmpo. It's the greatest player in your franchise's history. And if you have to act desperate to try to keep him, fine, man. Go out there and beg in the rain. Do whatever you need to do, right? Hold up the boom box. I don't care. Like, I can completely understand wanting to keep Giannis, and I fully support it. Double down, do something dumb, keep him. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, and it's also, it gets to the point where, you know, other parties end up getting involved, right? Where how much longer are we going to keep this thing going? Yeah, that's the question that everybody has to ask themselves.
Giannis's agent doesn't have a podcast, or maybe we're not lucky because
maybe we would know more about that. You know.
All right, guys, stick around after the break. We got Joe Vardon from Berlin. We talk a lot about the atmosphere there in Germany and Franz Wagner's return.
Danke schön.
Wow, the Orlando Magic, led by a bunch of Germans, beat the Memphis Grizzlies in Berlin. Our man Joe Vardon is on the ground. Joe, how is your German?
My German is about as good as my French and my Spanish and my Mandarin and Filipino. I can't speak a word of it.
Yeah, just listen. My rule of life is please, thank you, hello, goodbye. Exactly. As long as you do that, people know that at least you're not a jerk.
Call it a day.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, we're going to get to the game. Again, Orlando wins 118-111. They mount a big comeback to do it. But the first thing I got to ask you about, Anthony Black, that dunk that he had in the fourth quarter of this game, he dunked on 4 Memphis Grizzlies at once. Kind of looked like Michael Jordan in Space Jam, you know, the dunk at the buzzer where the arm stretches out. This was one of the most insane dunks I've ever seen in my life, much less this season. I think it's the dunk of the year, guys.
It might be. And then I think you also have to add in where they were in the game. I mean, you're talking about fourth quarter, trying to come back again. They had come back from 20 down and then had coughed up the lead.
Yeah.
And Franz was starting to get it going a little bit. But so Black gets in there in traffic over these people. And then
I believe it was a tie game too, right?
I think so. It was nuts. And then the crowd, you know, it's a German crowd, but they're all there rooting for the Magic because of the Wagners.
Yeah.
So Black does this and they go bonkers. It was awesome.
Rightfully so. Man, I think that's one of the greatest dunks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Just because of 4 guys tried to contest that shot. And if you slow it down, it's all at different points in time when he's actually going up for the dunk. So many things had to go right for him to actually land that thing. And to your point, the moment was incredible when it comes to him.
I'm going to get the poster. Look,
he should get the poster. And Black needs to plaster that on his wall.
We got to bring posters back, and maybe this Anthony Black dunk is the one that does it. We talked about Franz Wagner. He's back, and he kind of took over down the stretch of this game and really sealed the deal for the Magic and finished off the big comeback there. Yeah. What did you think about Franz and how he looked and seeing him up close?
Well, I thought he looked rusty for sure. And he had told some of the Alba Berlin guys, who he's so close to, he had mentioned that he didn't quite have his wind. And so for 3 quarters, he looked like it. It was struggling to shoot. I think he only had 5 points through three quarters, and he was 2 of 9 shooting at one point. And so all that stuff sounded about right. You weren't sure if he was nervous or he just hadn't played in so long. But then he comes out with 13 in the fourth and a bunch of clutch buckets. And he looked a lot more like himself. So, it's funny. I don't want to compare Orlando to Indiana. But what we can say is that at this time a year ago, the NBA comes over to Europe. And everybody's talking about the Spurs, not because of anything going on the court, but just because Victor was the host in Paris or whatever. And then quietly, Indiana was becoming the best team in the league.
Oh, yeah.
And so now, this week is about the Wagner brothers hosting in Berlin. And it's about, can these cities put up a new league with NBA Europe and all that? But the Magic are getting healthy, to your point, and getting both of the Wagners back over the last 6 days. Franz tonight. I mean, that's a major step in the right direction for a really expensive roster.
It feels like this could be a momentum swing for them this weekend. They go to London and they play again, and there's an opportunity for them to stamp themselves. I'm curious from your point of view, being there in Berlin, watching the star factor of Mo Wagner and Franz Wagner. What do you think that aspect does for, I guess, the NBA contingent of growing the game in Europe and whatnot?
Well, I mean, so the Wagners, they're not only from Berlin, but the team that plays at Uber Arena, the Alba, I'm not saying anything you guys don't know. You guys have lived this kind of stuff, but they are not only popular in the local community, I mean, Alba Berlin, but they are entrenched in the schools here. Mm-hmm. And so to have these 2 products of the Alba development system, who both became the youngest players ever to play for Alba in the actual Euro League or whatever, to have them move on to the NBA and then bring the NBA back, that is a big deal in Berlin. And then let's say too that the Wagners are also active members of the German national team, who they won the World Cup, and then I think they won the last Eurobasket. Maybe, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah. So yes. So it's a big deal. But to your point about Europe overall, I don't get the same feeling that you got with Victor. It does feel like Victor's star power is a little bit brighter.
Well, he's a phenomenon.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It is a different. He will transcend sports, in my opinion, just because he's such a spectacle.
Absolutely.
But as you mentioned, look, the Wagners, they've been a part of the most successful run in the German national team's history, winning the World Cup and the Eurobasket back to back like this. And there's no reason why that German national team won't continue to win. And those guys are stars in Germany. Now, look, I'm more of a Bayern Munich guy myself, not Alba Berlin. But I mean, you can't go anywhere in Germany. I know a lot of coaches there. Everyone talks about the Wagners. Their development is more of a something that you can point to as success, more so than Dirk Nowitzki, who was this completely different kind of special player. They are real development success stories, especially Franz. I want to swing this to the other team, okay?
Yeah.
Memphis, because they came out just hot as you can get, and had a 20-point lead at one point. But we've seen them do this. I mean, they did this with the Thunder. If you plug away and you keep at it, you can chip away at these leads. So they blow another lead, but they're down talent. I mean, their starting point guard, Ja Morant, obviously not playing and on his way out. And you were in the building the other day when Ja Morant, let's say, had a heated discussion with Vince Williams during the shoot around. And it was during the part of the practice when it's full of media. So this wasn't something that was like hidden away. And look, I don't want to try to guess at what they were getting into, but it does seem like this is an untenable situation. It's got to come to an end at some point. Have you heard anything about Ja Morant and what's happening there?
All kinds of stuff. I mean, it is a main topic of conversation out here. I think there was some surprise that Ja made the trip, but he did. So they brought him with the idea that he may play. Obviously, tonight before the game, I mean, I just have a story up that says this. I mean, Adam Silver himself said that he was disappointed Ja didn't play tonight. Mm-hmm. Yes, Ja is listed on the injury report with a calf bruise. It's not a strain or a sprain. It's a bruise. But the league can't mandate when you have to return from that sort of thing. So, there's talk of that. I mean, he is for the first time basically acknowledged by the team to be up for trade, which he's taking hard for sure. And, I do believe that he's probably run his course, as you're mentioning, like with a lot of his teammates. So like the Grizzlies aren't going to trade him just to trade him. At the same time, they know that they're not going to get for him. Well, I shouldn't say it like that. I think that there is an awareness on the part of the Grizzlies that like the return that they're going to get for a former number 2 pick, 3-time All-Star, may not match what that sounds like on paper. So I think they're kind of in a middle zone there. Like if the right deal doesn't come along, like he'll be here this year. I think there is hope that he plays again with them before he is traded, if indeed that he's moved. But yeah, I mean, this is an ongoing thing. And then on top of it, before he got into the argument with Williams, he sat with us and was standoffish and prickly, and that just kind of just fuels it. It's like it's so much, in a way, it's so much different than what happened in Atlanta with Trey. Like, was Trey thrilled with what was going on there? No, but he took such a different approach to it. So at the end of the day, anyone could reasonably say, look, this just didn't work from a basketball perspective anymore. And people moved on. Everybody was happy. Mm-hmm. That's probably, from a basketball standpoint, they've had Ja for 7 years. They had a couple playoff runs, but he's been hurt a lot. And, it's maybe time to try something different, but it's just because of all the off court stuff.
Yeah.
And it never stops. That's why the discussion around Ja is different.
So does this, because obviously we've seen the disgruntled star playbook before. Does all of this now accelerate what you're talking about to get this through the finish line before the deadline?
I don't think so. I just don't get the sense that the Grizzlies are in a hurry. That they're just, they want to get this right. Mm-hmm. And so they don't want to make a mistake. If the offer's right, they will move him. If they think there's a better chance for a better offer come summer, they'll wait till then.
So these two teams, they're going to play again in London.
Yeah.
You're making the trip. Have you already made dinner plans?
I have.
All right. Which team are you eating with this time? I know you got a chance to sit with the Magic. Are you going to hang out with the Grizzlies and see what's going on there?
Oh, you never know who might come across. I mean, so I went back to that place the next night, and I was by myself, and except at the table behind me was Dirk and Nash, and Jamal Mosley was there. So that's one of the fun things about these trips is you can end up in these places with NBA employees or NBA royalty or whatever you want to call it, just at random. So everybody's excited to go to London. Such a Western diverse metropolis that doesn't have a great basketball track record. So
I was about to say there's no British guy.
Hey, I've been hitting up the Scottish people, their basketball association, saying I would love to come take that over, but not the UK and just Scotland. Let me coach all this 5'7" guys. I got them.
Okay, so if you get that job, If you get that job, then I can have your St. Andrews membership.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't even know if that's a part of it, but yeah, I'll get that in the contract. Joe Vardon. Everybody go read Joe. Joe is our international traveler, the guy that's always putting his hand up when we need somebody to go to Berlin. What a great job. Anyway, thank you to Joe Vardon for hanging out. Thanks to Es Baraheni. I'm Dave DuFour, and this has been the NBA Daily. Thanks for waking up with us.